Welcome back to the Women in AV podcast. I am your host, Erica Carroll, and today we're diving into another inspiring story of a woman breaking barriers in the audiovisual world, celebrating their accomplishments, and working towards better visibility and representation in Pro AV. Today we have a very special guest, Briana Blohm. How are you, Briana?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. She and I got to meet in person just a month ago when we realized that our passion projects sort of intersect. And as a result of that, we are going to build and deliver our Rosie Riveters Explores Pro AV Soundwave kits to a STEM event at an organization that she's involved with. Anyway, I love it when it all comes together. And in the few interactions that we've had, I just love her energy, and I knew I wanted to have her on the show. So thank you, Briana, for making space in your calendar for us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm nervous.
No, don't be nervous. It's just a conversation, just a little getting to know you. So, Briana, you are at NEAT, and you are a sales engineer. Is that correct?
Similar, yeah. We call ourselves product specialists, but very similar to systems engineers, or sales engineers. Yep. We support the sales team.
Okay, so you haven't been necessarily in AV very long. So tell me a little bit about how you got here and how you got into the industry.
Yeah, so I graduated from Savannah College of Art and Design with an industrial design degree, and I was looking for a job. And straight up just wanted like health insurance and wanted to get into the business, and just be like, all right, let's get into the workforce. And there was an opportunity at a company called Polycom to be the front desk and to be the receptionist. And it was in Virginia and I was living in Georgia at the time. So I went up, I interviewed, virtually, loved it. And I started as the front desk girl in Herndon, Virginia at the Polycom demo center. And, I was having a great time. I had two very wonderful briefing managers at the time, Dan Ferguson, and David Colbert. And they were awesome and super cool. And, I was at the time just setting up conference rooms with coffee, ordering food and catering and different things. And I just loved conversating, and everybody there was just so nice and very friendly and always checked in with us. And they left the door open behind them and said, hey, you don't say like every other word. I think you would present well, you interact with people well. And so they said, hey, come with me and just listen to what I say and regurgitate it until it makes sense to you. And it was really awesome. I just had awesome people that I was surrounded by. And it wasn't at all what I thought I wanted to do. I wanted to be an industrial designer and a product designer. And then I learned very quickly, how could I design for people if I don't understand them? And so I kept going into this world, and then one thing, opportunities start popping up, and then a briefing manager role opened up in New York, in Manhattan, and I went up there, interviewed, and they were like, great, go for it. And then as that progressed, I just kept meeting people, and I just kept, I guess I'll try that job, and I just kept raising my hand like, oh, I'll try that. That seems like something I'd enjoy. And then I look back and I'm like, man, I'm not going in the direction that I thought, but I'm still adjacent to it in a way. And, video conferencing, we do it every day on our cell phones, with FaceTime and different things. It's so important. And I really just kept getting caught up in it and enjoying what I was doing. And so I ended up at on a team with a wonderful woman named Sherry Pippola, who's been a fantastic mentor, and she's taught me so much. And I was on her team as alliances, and then an opportunity opened up for her at NEAT. I followed her here at NEAT, and then ended up at as a product specialist because there was an opening there, and I was like, hey, I think more like this. I enjoy the sales side, and I respect it. But my personality type is definitely, hey, I like testing and playing with the gear and, how does this work? So it just was a good fit, and she totally supported me. There was no women on the team at the time. And I had some other teammates who were, telling me, I think you would really enjoy this job. And again, it's all these wonderful people that were just pouring into me saying, hey, come on, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is new to everybody. You don't need some crazy degree to,
Hmm.
do this. Tech is constantly evolving. So long story long, that's
Absolutely. No, that was a great story. And I see a lot of my own story within that as well. Just when you see an opportunity to take it, and how I got into the industry is not how, I mean, so I'll tell you real quick. I started with digital projection, and at the time, I had a virtual assistance and graphic design firm, and I applied for a temporary position that they needed help planning an event, and it was to take all of their top performing reps to Costa Rica, and I'm bilingual, and virtual assistance was my thing, and they interviewed me and basically looked at all of my skill sets and everything else I had going on. And they're like, I have no doubt you'd be good at that, but I think you'd really enjoy this other thing better. And they made a position for me as an applications engineer, troubleshooting systems, building out, projection. It was math. It was all math, but but it was so much fun and it was cool. And just being curious is such a powerful trait to have in exploring your career. And I can definitely see that within you. So that was that's an excellent timeline of what you shared. So what do you do now?
So I am a product specialist, very similar to a systems engineer. I am an overlay to the sales team. So any technical questions, demos, this is my home office with all the gear, or at least majority of the gear that we sell at Neat. And we do demonstrations, we do technical, support for customers in a way. We have a wonderful support team, but we help customers just day to day and do pre-sales motions and then fun stuff like this.
Yeah. And tinkering.
Tinkering, playing, and testing. Yes. Why is this failing? Yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun stuff that we get to do.
You mentioned some of the amazing people that have joined you along this journey and really opened doors for you and spoken for you on your behalf, probably when you weren't in the room. And some people call that mentorship. You did use that word. So what does mentorship look like to you? Because it's not always a traditional mentor-mentee sort of format.
I feel like with a couple of people, it was kind of like thrusted on me, like, hey, you're coming on doing this. Let's go. And I think that's part of it is just like showing people by their actions. Like, I think mentorship, some
Mm-hmm.
people look at it in this like fairy kind of way, like, let me share with you everything. And it's sometimes like, hey, get in here and just help me think through it too. And you just learning how other people problem solve and saying, oh, this is
Yeah.
an interesting way to approach that. And just learning by osmosis. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
think these people really understood that they were mentors to me, or probably know that, but I look at them as a mentor because they were, when I asked them questions,
Yeah.
they were just willing to listen
Mm-hmm.
and sit with me and help me problem solve. So, and then show
Mm-hmm.
me how they problem solve and say, hey, this is how I would attack that situation. Right. So that's
Yeah.
how I kind of view it and I'm a very hands-on person. Like I don't really learn well from, just reading something or, I have to do it with somebody or hear them do it a couple of times and dive right in.
So outside of work, you are obviously very passionate about the technology and the opportunities that are available within tech, and not necessarily needing a degree to get into it. But what else are you passionate about?
There's a lot of things. I love, design, art, things like that. But I love, I recently have gone back to Atlanta and have been visiting with this group, and Agape, which is a organization where they offer free after school care for students. They provide clothes, healthcare. They're doing right now. They've been in the midst of a back to school effort where they're giving kids backpacks, clothes, shoes, everything, right? And just having been part of certain programs like that when I was younger, not necessarily that same one, but just being impacted
Mhm.
by people just coming back to their community and helping and giving back and coaching. I've had wonderful coaches. I played softball all throughout college and in other more different settings, and those women and seeing people that were like me and and coming back and giving
Hmm.
back is something that I have found important recently. So Agape is doing wonderful things in
Yeah.
Atlanta, and that's really I'm excited to start, kind of getting into that again and helping. How can we support groups like that, not just in Atlanta but just nationally?
I want to say it's still work, even if it's passionate work, or it's work for money. Is there anything that you do for
Oh,
fun to
yeah,
get your mind off of those
yeah.
things? Okay.
Yeah, I love painting and like just I like making
Yeah.
quilts. I industrial design. I am a quilter. I used to work at our wood shop in college, so I love woodwork. I built these shelves. Like I'll do home projects and DIY projects and things like that. So a lot of different things. Anything creative. Making bread this morning, sourdough.
Yeah. I feel that.
A lot of different things. Anything that's not in front of a computer, funny enough. I like anything that is away from a screen. As you can see, I'm surrounded by them all day long, which I love and appreciate, but there is a time to step back. So definitely like hanging out with my husband in the garden and doing anything with my hands is fun to me.
I agree. And that is so important to step away from the screens too.
Yeah.
So we have sort of a spirit of learning around here. So is there anything that you are reading or listening to, or anything you have learned recently that's worth sharing?
There's so much. I mean, let me look back here. Atomic Habits is one of like the best. I mean, next to
Oh,
the Bible,
that's a
right?
great one.
Like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's another book called The Six Types of Working Genius. And it's just trying to
Hmm.
figure out, like, I love Enneagram stuff. I love, as corny as some people are like, oh, that's not real. Some people, I'm like, your whole life is poured into this. It's absolutely real. So I'm all about that
Yeah.
stuff. And so I love anything that is helpful with, understanding your personality type better, what you like, what you're good
Hmm.
at, what you don't like doing though. Like there's certain things like that. So Six Types of Working Genius and Atomic Habits, I always go back to. Um,
Yeah.
and those are some really good ones. And then just anything that is, from a personality perspective, just trying to figure out, okay, how can I be more
Yeah.
productive and helpful in my job and society with the personality type and the brain that I have? Like, how could I bring
Hmm.
that? Because it's more creative. You see a lot of creative people in tech, so I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
how can I use it in and not in the obvious way? How can I, again, just going back to problem solving, how can I use my creative juices to help me problem solve a little better? But those two books,
Yeah.
I think those are the ones that I've been hanging out with the most lately.
That's awesome. Atomic Habits is a great one. I've gone back to it a couple times, and habit stacking is a it's a hack. I mean,
Yeah, it's so simple. I'm like, wow, I feel
yeah,
foolish for not knowing
right.
this. But it's
Exactly.
so simply written too. I'm like, no, this is duh,
Yeah.
duh. It should be the end of the
Yeah.
chapters. Like, duh, of course. It's so
Right.
good. And Six Types of Working Genius is like that as well.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll have to look
yeah,
at
that
that.
one's fun. It's a
Yeah.
gentleman that was just struggling and he got his group together and he was realizing like, oh man, this person's really good at this, but they hate doing that. So how could we, and
Hmm.
similarly habit stack so that we could, treat them with something that they like to do. And even though this activity sucks for them. So I'm trying to bring that into my everyday.
This is the final question. And we do have a sort of ritual around here where you get a question from the last guest, and they've left it for you, not knowing who it's going to be. And I'll get a question from you later
Oh Lord. Okay.
for our next guest. So your question is, what's one moment in your AV career where you realized that you belonged in the room?
Oh, that's such a great question. I sometimes don't, I can't lie. I sometimes feel like you know, I
Hmm.
don't
That
belong. That a bit of
imposter
imposter
syndrome.
syndrome, but I think
Yeah.
when I'm doing demos, I just get excited and I have teammates that have encouraged me. I mean, I think one of my teammates, um, it's just, yeah, when my teammates are like, dude, heck yeah. People who have been in the
Yeah.
industry longer than I've been alive that were like, oh, I learned something from you. Or, oh, I wouldn't have approached that problem that way. Like that kind of feedback
Yeah.
is what's I feed off. I'm like, I do well feeding off of,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes from my peers or my teammates,
Mm-hmm.
like having that
Sure.
encouragement and saying like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's go for that. And I'm like, oh man, like what did,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I didn't think, anything of it, but, I appreciate that feedback from my teammates. And I
Yeah.
think I very lucky to be on a team of just wonderful people who are like encouraging each other and encouraging us to put up more shots, in a way like, hey,
Yeah.
fail more so that we could continue to succeed. So I don't know if that's a great answer, but, or a good
No, I think
answer,
that's
but
great.
yeah, I feel like that when I get that, from my peers. Like it's nice coming from a
Mm-hmm.
leadership, but when it's your buddies and they're like,
I
yo,
know.
this is, yeah, good job, good on you. I'm like, man, I respect you all so much. A lot
Yeah.
of them have been doing this role for a long time. So when I get that feedback from them, it means the world. And I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to be on this team. So it's cool.
Yeah. I love when you get validation like that. That's phenomenal. Absolutely. So, Brianna, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today on this episode of the Women in Navy. It has been such a pleasure having you on. Where can people find you on the interwebs or other places?
Yeah. On LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn, Briana Mateo Bloom, Briana Mateo
Okay.
dash Bloom. And then neat.no. If you follow Neat, our LinkedIn page, we're doing a lot of different demos and videos there. You'll see me a couple more times doing some of those trainings. But yeah, those two places are
Yes.
the best way to get at me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you can find me in all the social places with the handle excuse me, I don't even know my own handle, the Erica Carroll, at the Erica Carroll. Thank you again. And to all of our listeners, if you're listening to this as audio only, please be sure to check out the YouTube version and vice versa. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also find us anywhere you get your podcasts. And remember to check out some of our other AVNation sister shows, like our friends over at AV Career Mastermind on avnation.tv.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.
Hello, this is Steve Greenblatt, host of AVNation's Estate of Control podcast. Each month, Rich Fregosa and I explore trending topics related to control programming and automation in the audiovisual industry. We speak with a variety of AV professionals who share their perspectives, knowledge, and experiences. Please join us for this monthly conversation. Check out Estate of Control on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.